Thank you for joining us. Quick introductions. My name is Ethan.
I'm Amanda.
And above me there, you can see Amanda. So the two of you are going to have a little bit different background. So this presentation hopefully will help out both of you a little bit. Claude, you are already here in Minnesota. But Beth is not in Minnesota. So we're going to give today a presentation that's going to help you understand a little bit more about the state of Minnesota and also about the University of St. Thomas and the next steps in the process of enrolling. So if you have any questions, we're going to hold that for the end, but we'll be happy to take any questions later on. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, very good. So we've got here's the people you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
This is our admissions team, and you can see the tall, handsome fellow in the back. That's me. And there's Amanda.
I'm the blonde one in the front.
I'm the Associate Director of International Admissions, and Amanda.
I'm the International Admissions Counselor. And then
Very
we also
good.
have student workers who you've probably both been emailing quite a bit, probably. Yep.
Very good. All right, so very quick, we're going to go ahead and mute your microphones. Are you going to do that, Amanda?
Yep.
Or they do it? Okay.
I did it.
There's only a couple of you on, so it shouldn't be a problem. If you have any questions throughout, you can type them in the chat box. Otherwise, you can hold your questions and we will take them at the end.
All right.
All right, very good. Quick introduction. So in case you're not familiar, we are located in the Twin Cities, which is in the state of Minnesota, as you know. Minnesota is known as the land of 10,000 lakes because, of course, we have a lot of lakes and rivers here in Minnesota. It's kind of our defining feature. And our city is actually two cities. So the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, and you can see in the photos there, the top one is Minneapolis and the bottom one is St. Paul. And that is the Mississippi River that runs through between the two cities. One thing I want you to take away from this presentation is that a lot of people who are outside of the US and maybe are not familiar with Minnesota kind of think of it as just a remote place out in the middle of nowhere. It's far away from New York and it's far away from California. But I hope that you'll take away today is that Minnesota is actually a very vibrant place. There is a lot of things happening here. There's a lot of opportunities, and it's really a good place to live and work and study. And so I'm going to show you a little bit more about some of those opportunities. Now, these lists are, in fact, rankings that we have, which are done by various magazines and websites. So you don't need to see every single one. We'll share this slide with you so you can look more closely later. But if you look under the state of Minnesota, these are all rankings that have been assigned to us. For example, according to wallethub.com, Minnesota is the #1 safest state in the USA. So obviously that's something that can help your parents and you feel more at ease coming here. #2, best state for jobs, best state for women, happiest state, best run state, best state to live, #3, best place to live according to CNBC. #1, best state for healthcare according to Forbes magazine. So really Minnesota is really widely considered as one of the best places for highest quality of life. And then the Twin Cities also, Forbes magazine said that we were the #1 healthiest city in the USA, #1 fittest city, best city for tech jobs, but among the best cities for parks, and so on. So I just hope you'll keep in mind that even though Minnesota may not be as famous as New York City or some of the other Florida, Texas, some of the other places, we are actually known as having a very good quality of life. So it will be a good place for you to live and study. Here's some few examples coming up of some things that we have to do here in Minnesota. So the Minnesota State Fair is one of the two biggest state fairs in the country. This is when you come here in the fall, in August, at the end of August. This will be one of the very first events that you do. We will actually lead a group of you to go together to the state fair. It's very nearby our campus, and you'll get a taste of some interesting food and also a taste of Minnesota culture, because we call it the Great Minnesota Get-Together. Our location of the university is actually extremely convenient. It's one of our best advantages that we have compared to some other schools. We are located right in the center of the Twin Cities. So we're right in between the two cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, which means we are to go from our campus to downtown Minneapolis, which you can see in the picture there in the background, is only about 10 minutes by car. Downtown St. Paul, the other city, is only 10 minutes by car. You can see the airport. We are only 10 minutes roughly from the airport. So
International airport.
Yes, international airport, and we have direct flights from Europe, direct flights from Asia. We have direct flights from Korea, China, and Japan, and also, so it's very easy to travel here. And then once you arrive here, it's just a short car ride and you're on campus.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see the Mall of America, which is America's biggest shopping mall. And so there are a lot of things to do there, of course, and that is also just nearby. Now, many people ask about the climate here in Minnesota, of course. We do have 4 seasons. You can see on the top left, we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. So you do have the chance to experience all of these things. Now, of course, the climate it's different for everybody. Some people love the winter time and some people don't. I happen to love it myself. But in any case, for those of you who are coming from countries where you do not have winter, you do not have 4 seasons, it's an interesting experience for you. You know, I would recommend that you think about it as a life experience. You know, it's something different. A lot of students really enjoy the changing seasons, and it gives you a chance to try something new. Do we have a winter slide? Oh, there we go. For example, you can experience the St. Paul Winter Carnival, things like ice sculptures and snow sculptures. And you can be assured that all of the buildings are quite warm. The heating is very, very efficient and very good. So your dorm rooms and the classrooms, cafeteria, everything will be very warm. Even in a lot of the buildings on our campus are connected underground by tunnels. So you can often get from one building to another without even going outside. Mm-hmm. And then when you do go outside, you just have to be prepared. And as long as you have warm clothes, which we will help you buy, if you need help with that, we'll take you to the store where you can buy them. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another scenic spot you can see here in Minnesota. Lake Superior is the world's biggest freshwater lake, located, it's about 2 hours north of our campus. Probably you'll have a chance to go visit there. And here in Minnesota, we really cherish our outdoor nature, our activities. Things like fishing. You can see, obviously, we have so many lakes, and bicycling, skiing, outdoor sports. People love going to parks. So I pointed out that our park system is very, very good. We really cherish our outdoor activities all year round, even in the winter. And you'll see that the culture here in Minnesota is very active. The people love to be outside. And so hopefully that will give you the chance to maybe try some new things like ice fishing, for example. Even in the winter, we go cut a hole in the ice and catch fish in the lake. And you'll have a chance to, if you like riding bicycles, you can ride all over the city by bicycle very easily. So I hope that you'll take the opportunity to do some of those things. We do have 6 major professional sports teams, which you can see here. All of them play their games right in the Twin Cities. So it's very easy to go to the games if you are interested. We even sometimes you can purchase tickets right on our campus. We have a place called Tommy Central that sells tickets to the games. Sometimes you can sometimes get discount tickets. So it's easy access to all of these games. If you like basketball, our women's basketball team, the Lynx, is actually one of probably the best team. They have won the league championship several times. So you can have a chance to go to that. And then we also have lots and lots of cultural activities here, arts, theaters, museums, and so on. You can see in the photos here, the one in the middle is a theater. We have the one on the top left is an old a grain elevator that has been converted into a museum, a history museum. The art museum on the top right is actually free entrance. And then the science museum on the bottom right is a very interesting place to go. And there's lots of other things as well. There's music, concerts. We really are, Minneapolis, St. Paul are actually known as a place that have a lot of cultural activities like this. All of these things are within easy access of our campus. And so you'll come here, you'll never be bored. There's lots of things to do.
That's true. And this is our campus. So if you have not been here or not familiar with the University of St. Thomas, this is the main part of our campus. And this is in St. Paul. And so you'll see here, this is the gym. Here's some of the dormitories. Here's the classroom areas, and here, and the library. And then where I'm sitting right now is actually right over here. So if you didn't know this about our university, we're quite old, and we are a private Catholic liberal arts university with extremely strong STEM programs. And what this means is that you are going to have small class sizes. So you will never have a graduate student teaching your class. You will always know everybody in your class. Your professor will know you, and you will know them. And what that means is really personalized attention, a lot of support for you guys throughout your time here. Maybe research opportunities, internship opportunities, a really good chance for you to get close to people who can help shape what you're interested in and help you grow while you're here. We are about 10,000 students total, 6,000 undergraduate students. So that would be your population that you'd see the most often. And we have about 71 different countries on campus and over 550 international students. So about 6% of the population is international. So you'll meet people from hopefully your home country, but also countries from all over the world. And then we have this really great ceremony in the beginning, which I'll talk about later as well. So this is another view of us. You can see that we're right on the Mississippi River and then very close to downtown Minneapolis. St. Paul's over here, which Ethan spoke about. And the tunnels that he spoke about are under these buildings here. So you can easily get around campus if you're cold. But don't worry, we'll make sure you go to the Mall of America and you get a really awesome coat and boots, and there's no tax on clothes or shoes. So you'll be super warm for less money. It'll be great. You can see it's even really pretty in the winter. Campus is usually really decorated. You can see different Christmas trees and lights. It's a really awesome thing to experience. And if you've never experienced snow, please tell us and we'll come out and experience it with you the first time it happens, because it's a good experience with students. Our student union, so in the United States, if you're not familiar with the differences of higher education in the US, everything happens on campus. It's very much a part of your life. You go everywhere, you live on campus, you have class, you eat, you have friends. It's your central world for at least the very first probably 2 years while you're on campus. And a big part of that is our student union. So the Anderson Student Center, our office is actually located here. And so it's all the different offices for student support services, the bookstore, different places to eat. You'll meet with your clubs and things like that. And it's pretty great looking, and it's fairly new, and it was ranked top 10 in the US. So you'll have a nice place to hang out and come visit us. Our Anderson Athletic Recreation Complex, also fairly new. All of this is available to you guys as a part of your student fee. So you've already paid, you have full access to these services. Our library kind of looks like Harry Potter, so that's a big plus in my opinion. And then we are ranked fairly high for our engineering programs. And so our Frey Science and Engineering building has a lot of different hands-on activities. This is where maybe you'd go for math tutoring. All of your science math classes will predominantly be in these buildings if you're studying those things. And so a lot of different hands-on opportunities for you to learn. And then we also have a campus downtown Minneapolis. And so this campus is mostly for graduate programs in education and business. However, there is a free shuttle every 20 minutes from the campus that you guys will be on to this campus. And so if you wanted to go downtown, it's very easy. Obviously free with your student ID. And then if Ethan was talking about different sports and theaters, those are all right here on this big street. That's kind of the main street for everything. And then like the biggest Target is right here, but also you'll see there's these skyways, and all of the buildings in Minneapolis and St. Paul are connected through the skyways. So if it is winter, you don't have to go outside. You can hop from building to building really easy, and it's really fun. There's always a lot of people and restaurants and things in the skyway system. So this is just a few of the different employers that exist in the Twin Cities. We actually have 17 Fortune 500 companies in the Twin Cities. Are these familiar to you guys maybe? Like 3M, Target, yeah. So these are huge employers, huge companies in the area. And we're really proud of the fact that St. Thomas students get jobs. So over half of our students have a job offer before they graduate. 94% of our students are working within 6 months of graduation, or they go to grad school. And then over half of our students do internships before they graduate. And we'll talk about that more later too, what that looks like. But there's a lot of different opportunities for students to get to know employers and practice their interview skills, do internship interviews, part-time work. Once they're here for 1 year, you're allowed to work off campus. Just talk to us about it. And these are the companies that come to campus to recruit students like you. So this is a map of all of the colleges in the United States that have the best rates of student employment. And we are really proud to be #1 in the state of Minnesota. And this means a lot to us because there are a lot of colleges in Minnesota. We actually have the second highest concentration of colleges in the United States. So not only do you get to be surrounded by a ton of college students all the time, because there's so many here, but you know that you're getting a really good education that prepares you later for whatever you want to do in the workforce afterward. So campus life, like I mentioned in the US, campus life and the learning that you do outside and inside the classroom are both important. And that's a huge piece of what it looks like to be here. And so we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like for you. When you arrive after orientation, you will lead the entire new first year class into the campus through these arches. It's called March Through the Arches. We'll get you your flag, and then you walk the entire 1,000 student group into campus, and everybody on campus in the community claps for you. It's one of my favorite days on campus because it's a really great way to get to know each other, but also to show off a little bit more about you because you're leading the whole group in. We also have a program called the Friendship Family Program. And so this is not a host family. You don't have to live with them. You don't live with them. This is more of like a friend, like a family friend in the area. So if you need something or you maybe want that sense of home away from home, this is a really good thing to join when you get here. We also will do a special one for Thanksgiving, which you can see here, where maybe if you didn't join Friendship Family, you can still do Thanksgiving with the Minnesota family. But this is like you go maybe shopping, or you go to their kids' sports games, or do different things in the area with them for fun, have dinner with them, things like that. And the students who sign up, have a really good experience. It's a way to see a different piece of life here that maybe you wouldn't see if you didn't sign up. We also have a ton of different cultural dinners in the spring semester. So that'll happen your second semester here. And the biggest one that we celebrate is the International Dinner. This has been happening. It'll be over 30 years now that we've been doing this dinner. And this is a chance for everybody to come and show off what they love, experience. There's cultural dances and there's food. Everyone brings their families or friends from the community, and it's all free. And all these dinners are free to you guys. So really good chance for awesome free food and to experience something that's really special to us. So campus housing, about 96% of our students do live on campus their first year. Majority of international students do as well. It helps with the transition to campus, and we also have a lot of different options. So you can have a traditional dorm where you have a one other person in your room and kind of a bed that looks like this. And then when you're older, then you can have an apartment style where you have your own bedroom, own bathroom that with one other person, and then kind of a communal space with a kitchen. And we're actually building 2 new residence halls this year. So maybe you'll get lucky in the future and get to live in one of the brand new ones. We also have over 140 clubs on campus. And this means that there's literally always something for you to do or join or experience. After you arrive, about 2 weeks after class starts, they'll have a big fair for you. So you can sign up then and then kind of get a feel for what you're interested in. No harm in signing up to get an email to know when they're meeting, you know. But this could range from a sport or intramural club or a cultural club, even some of the academic clubs or special interest clubs. They bring different speakers to campus. So if you are interested in something like finance or accounting or women in business, something like that, those opportunities exist. And we have meetings every Tuesday and Thursday during lunch. You don't have class. Everybody has their club meetings instead. We also have some excellent sports teams, and we are hoping to soon move to Division I. So that means it'll get a lot more exciting on campus, a lot more competition. You'll see us a lot more on TV, which is pretty cool for us and for you guys to go to the games. We also have what's called January term. So in the month of January, you do not have to take class unless you want to. You can go home for the entire month if you want. You could go study abroad, so do another study abroad experience for a month. A lot of students will do that. We are actually number 6 in the country for sending students abroad. You could just stay and explore the United States, or you could take a class at St. Thomas for half the price. So a lot of good options for students during January to kind of explore what they want, kind of make up their own schedule for that month. In addition, during January and summer, you can also work full-time on campus. You can only work part-time on campus when you have classes during the school year, but you can do this your first year, right when you arrive. So that's the big plus of working on campus. It can happen your second week of class. So a lot of students work on campus because it's really good experience learning a different workplace culture, but also you can make about $10 an hour, so that's some good spending money additionally. And a good way to get to know other people on campus, gain some leadership skills as well.
Amanda, looks like we have a question about study abroad.
Ooh.
Question is the study abroad option only for 1 month?
Good question. No, you can go for January, which is 1 month. You could go for summer, which could be like 1 to 2 months. You could go for a semester, which could be like 4 months, or you could go for a year, which is a year, so like 9 months. So you have a lot of different options, and we have students that have done all of those options. So we could definitely connect you and have those conversations of what it looked like for them, because you might have to go home and get a different visa. Like there are extra steps that we're here to support you with if you guys choose to go abroad again. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what about the study abroad that's only on January, for example? Then you do the study abroad option on January, and then on February you come back and start the semester here, or?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So maybe some people do it because it fits in their schedule really nicely, or it's cheaper or something like that. Mm-hmm. Good question. Yeah, and you can do St. Thomas classes while you're gone too, so it's really easy to bring back that credit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
It's super awesome. Yeah, good question.
Okay, so here you can see a list of our undergraduate majors. Now it's probably hard to read on this slide, but all available on the website as well. We do have quite a good selection of majors. One One thing I want to point out for those of you who may not be so familiar with the United States education system, you don't have to choose your major right away. So right now, especially for those of you who are first-year students, I know some of you may be transfer, but the first-year students especially, right now, you don't have a major. So when you did the application, you probably selected your preferred major. But if you change your mind and decide you want to switch that, that's fine. That's no problem at all. Typically during the first year, you'll do a lot of courses that are what we call the core curriculum. Some schools call it Gen Ed or general education. That means you're going to be taking classes in lots of different areas. You're going to be taking classes in English, history, art, math and science, philosophy and theology. And so you're going to be getting a very well-rounded education, no matter what your major is. We want, whether you're a philosophy major or an engineer or a music major, everybody's going to have that foundation in the core subjects. So we want everybody to be well-rounded. So then if you do decide you're thinking about one area, and then maybe after you take one class, you decide, ooh, I don't like it so much, and you want to switch to a different major, no problem. So I'd encourage you now, like, don't worry too much. You know, if you think, oh no, I chose this major and I don't like it, that's fine. It's very, very common for students here in the US to be undecided. As a matter of fact, undecided is the most common major for incoming first-year students. And it's also very common for students to switch their majors. Some students change multiple times before they graduate. So keep that in mind.
You will want to have a major for your visa interview, though. Even if you're going to change it later, pick one. Because that makes it more obvious that you have a solid goal and plan for your future. And Ethan will talk about that more later, too.
Yes. So your I-20, even when you get your I-20, for those of you who are not familiar, your I-20 is a document that we will send to you that will allow you to apply for your visa if you're outside of the United States right now. That's a very important document, the I-20. It's your immigration document that will have a major on it. Now, a lot of students see the major on their I-20 and think that that is locked in. It is not. So you can change. If you decide later you want to do a different major, we will change your major, print you a new I-20. Simple as that. So don't worry. It's good to have a plan, but if your plan changes, that's okay. So at the University of St. Thomas, we're a private university. As you know, like the cost of attending a private university here in the United States is not low. This is the reason why, because we have a lot of resources for you. We have very, very good personalized attention that are going to help you stay on track, help you be successful. We are committed to making sure that all of you can be successful. We have something called the Center for Student Achievement, which is a place on our campus where you can find all kinds of resources like tutoring assistance. You can get research opportunities. They have help with technology if your computer is having trouble. If you need help with math, with writing, English, ESL help, any of this stuff, we have people that are going to help you. We have a career center that will help you find internship opportunities. Looks like we have a question. What should I do to be academically prepared for the first year? Will the school show us some textbooks? Okay, great question. In order to be prepared, you won't have your textbooks for your classes in advance. There will be opportunities for you to prepare for your math placement test. So many of you will do a math placement when you arrive here to figure out which math class you should be assigned to. And we do have some online resources to help you prepare for that. Otherwise, I would say my advice would be just kind of like go online or get some books and just read up about education in the USA, like about university, how the school system might be different from your home country. Learn more about Minnesota so you're familiar with the location that you're coming to. Go on our website, learn more about the university, about our history, about our culture, and about our campus and so forth. You know, keep practicing English in any way you can, even if it's just reading, or if it's listening to podcasts or watching TV, just to make sure you're kind of in that mindset of being in an English language environment. As far as actually preparing for your classes, I don't think you really need to, other than the math placement, you probably don't need to do a lot of specific prep for your classes. We have another question. What does St. Thomas do to assist students to prepare for visa interview? And if I couldn't pass, what is the way forward? That is a great question. I'm actually going to address this in a few minutes towards the end of the presentation. So I will get back to that question.
The other advice I would give you, if you are concerned about what does that look like to start here and how to prepare, is talk to a current student who goes to St. Thomas, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But they're so excited to talk to you, so it's really easy to talk to them, and they'll answer every question you have. And they're the ones who you'll be in class with. They're the ones who you'll see, so they're really good resources to talk to.
Yes, and then I didn't mention office hours. You can see there. Office hours are, generally speaking, though that means that the professors have time for you outside of class. So pretty much all the professors will have office hours, and that means if you have any questions, if you need any help with your coursework, you can go directly to the professor and ask him or her to help you. And they are, our St. Thomas professors are famous for being very friendly, very open to the students. This is a little different depending on which country you're coming from. I know in a lot of countries, people think about the professor as being, high level, where the students, it's not considered polite or it's not considered acceptable for the student to reach out directly to the professor. But here in the US, and especially here at St. Thomas, it's not like that. The professor is, you can call them by their first name most of the time. They're very accessible. They treat you like a friend. They will welcome you to their office. Some teachers invite students to their homes or go out to dinner or other activities like that. So it's try to get in the mindset that your professor is also a tutor, is also a friend. So it's somebody that you can call, you can email, you can go to their office. You're not going to lose face. You're not going to be looked down upon by asking extra assistance. We really encourage that.
Highly recommended, because those are the people that will also give you some research or internship opportunities, write you a letter of recommendation in the future. So it's smart. It's in your best interest to go visit them as much as possible, and they'll love it. They'll be so happy you're there. Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, so here I mentioned already the Center for Student Achievement, which you can see in the photo. As I mentioned, it's a gathering place, and these are the services that you will find there. So academic counseling. A lot of students wonder, how do you choose your classes? So the way that works is during the in your very first semester, especially for first year students. Transfer students may be a little different, but for first year students, in the first semester, you will be assigned to an academic counselor. We have 2 academic counselors who specifically work with international students, so they are very familiar with some of the challenges that you face as international students. One of them, I believe, even maybe was an international
She
student
was.
at one time.
Mhm.
So and the other one has been working with international students for years and years. So they will actually choose your classes for you at the beginning in the first semester. And then when you arrive here, you will meet with them to look at your schedule. And if you need to make any adjustments, they will help you to do that as best they can. What they'll do is they will look at your intended major and try to put you on a path that will be best suited for that. Now, like I said before, that doesn't mean you can't change. You can change your major, but they want to get you on track. So, for example, if you've indicated that your intended major is engineering, for example, they will make sure that you get the right math or physics classes that you need to get you on track. You know, if you've said that your major is business, they'll try to get you the right math or the right business classes you need to get you on track for that.
Mhm.
And then if you need help, you don't know what major you want to do, you can, your academic counselor will be a very good person to discuss that with. Then in the second semester, you will be responsible for registering for classes with the help of your counselor.
Mhm.
And they can help you through that process. After you declare a major, so maybe during the second year when you officially have a major, at that time you will be assigned what's called a faculty advisor. So the faculty advisor is a professor from the department that you are majoring in. And then the professor at that point will be the one helping you select classes and helping you make sure that you're on track to complete your major and to graduate on time. So then we also have the Career Development Center. They will help you make resume. They will help you apply for jobs. They have job listings. They often invite companies to our campus to interview students. They can help you prepare for job interviews and so on. Looks like we have another question. What is the process for a transfer student? Very good question.
Mhm.
Yes, so those of you who are, if you're a transfer student outside the United States, we will get your transcript in advance. Ideally, we get your official transcript if you can mail it to us. Otherwise, we can do an unofficial evaluation of your transfer credits. Now, sometimes it gets tricky, and the reason is we can evaluate your number of credits, right? So, for example, maybe you have 50 credits that come in, credit hours, so that means the number of credits. You need approximately 130 credits to graduate here at St. Thomas. But sometimes with the courses from outside the US, it's difficult to know exactly how they're going to fit into your curriculum here. So what that means is after you arrive, you may need to petition for credits. And what that means is you may need to go to the professors of a certain department and try to explain to them that the courses you've done before are equal to a certain course here. So, for example, sometimes if you have courses from outside the US, your transcript might say math or advanced math. Now, just by looking at the transcript, we don't know what that means, right? What's advanced math? It could be algebra, it could be calculus, it could be trigonometry, who knows? We don't know what it is, right? So what you should do is try to, as much as possible, prepare syllabi, meaning so the detailed descriptions of your courses that you've done. And as much detail as possible, if you can have lists of all the which books you've done, what you've read for those classes, what material you learned in those classes. And that way, when you come here, you can show that to the professors from that department and show them what exactly you learned. And so then for, like in my math example, if you look and and you can show us exactly what you learned, the professors might say, oh yes, okay, this class is equal to Calculus 1 here at St. Thomas. You'll get credit for Calculus 1. You won't have to do it again. So sometimes we'll be able to give you a number of credits in advance, but we may not be able to tell you exactly how the courses are going to match up until after you come here. But if you connect with us directly in advance to start that process, we can get moving on it early, which will make it easier. And for those of you who are transferring from within the United States, it's a little bit easier because we're generally more familiar with your schools. What we'll do is have you connect in advance with your academic counselor. So we'll have you set up a meeting. Could be any time. Sometimes we do them during the summer, or you could do them now even. We'll have you meet with the academic counselor to talk about which courses you prefer to take and how your transfer credits will fit in.
The big thing about if you are transferring from abroad, you don't have to do that alone. Those same academic counselors and our team is here to help you. You're not having to run to every professor and type up what you know. You get the syllabi from your other professors, and then you use the resources of us and academic counseling to help you petition your professors. We don't expect you to literally run around to every class. I just don't want you to be overwhelmed if that's your situation.
Good. And one more note about that is you will need to get your official transcripts from your school. So what we do at St. Thomas is we allow you to apply with just a copy, a scan, but you actually need the official hard copy when you come here in order to get those credits. And all of you, whether you're transfer or first year, also need an official hard copy of your high school credentials, your high school transcript. So if you don't have that, try working on getting it. Start now. I know with the COVID-19 situation, some of your schools may be closed. I understand that. But hopefully you can still get an official transcript if you don't have one. So start working on that if you have not already.
Good.
Okay, we're going to move along. So research. St. Thomas, we pride ourselves on undergraduate research opportunities, especially if any of you are planning to major in a natural science like biology, chemistry, physics, environmental science, and so forth. We do not have any master's degree programs in those fields. What that means is that all of the research opportunities go to undergraduate students. So if you want to do research, you can apply right from your first year. The professors actually like getting first-year students to join their research projects because that means that you will stick with them for several years and they can really get you involved in their research. If they, at the end of the research, if they publish a paper, you may get your name in the paper. And that research opportunity is extremely, extremely valuable because when you go on to apply for a job in the future, or when you apply to go to, if you want to do a master's degree, that research opportunity is extremely valuable. And you can even get paid to do the research. So during the summer, a lot of students do this. You get on a professor's research team and you can get paid, I believe it's around $3,000 to $4,000, I believe, for the summer to do research. And as you can see in the photo there, the person in the back of the canoe is actually our boss. So he is the senior international officer at St. Thomas and also a biology professor. And you can see they are researching turtles, it looks like. And so there's a lot of wonderful opportunities for you like this at St. Thomas that you may not get these great opportunities if you go to a larger university where the research opportunities often go to the master's degree or PhD level students. Internships. We do have great, you have wonderful opportunities for internships. Here at St. Thomas, we have the Career Development Center that will help you with this. Our location in the center of the Twin Cities is extremely advantageous for getting internships because you can stay on campus during the summer, or you can stay in your apartment wherever you're living during the summer, and you can get an internship right in the Twin Cities without having to leave or go to another city or commute from a long distance to do an internship. It's extremely convenient. As international students, we have something called CPT, which you can see on the bottom. CPT, if you're not familiar, the meaning of this is that you can work as an international student off of campus, so in an internship situation. You can get paid, and you can do that with your F1 student visa. So it's legal. The job must be related to your major, and you must get approved for it, but you can do it. Lots of international students do it. Question we have, is it possible for an international student to work and school alongside? Yes. So you are allowed to work on campus as well. And for off-campus work, you can do it as CPT, but it must be related to your major. So you're not allowed to just go work as a waiter or waitress in a restaurant. You cannot do that. But if your major is accounting, and you get an internship in an accounting firm, great. Yes, you can. As far as income, like if you're hoping to get, to use your employment income as part of your financial support, in that case, on-campus employment is more reliable because it's easier to get jobs. You can do them for longer time. I would say off-campus employment, think about that more as the experience. Don't think about that so much as the income. But it's an extremely valuable experience that's going to help you get a job in the future. And then after you graduate, there's something called OPT. Is that mentioned in the slides, Amanda? So after you graduate, there's something called OPT. And OPT allows you to stay and work with your F1 visa for between 1 and 3 years, depending on your major after you graduate. And so having that CPT experience will help you get a job for OPT as well. And we can certainly help you. We can certainly help you with that. Next steps. So all of you are in slightly different situations. Some of you are already here in the US, and some of you are not. In any case, and some of you may be on F1 visas, and some of you may be on other types of visas. But in the case, this information is for those of you who are planning to have an F1 student visa, which probably the majority of you. All of you will need to submit your financial support documentation if you have not done that already. What this means is you need to send us a bank statement or a copy, send us a photocopy, a scan of your bank statement. You need to show us that you have enough money to cover 1 year of tuition, fees, and living expenses. If you're not sure how much that is, the number is indicated on the admission email that you have already received. It should also be, if you log into your application portal on our website, the number should be there as well.
It is.
So send us a copy of a bank statement. The bank statement can be, it doesn't need to be in your name. It can be from a family member. It can be a combination of 2 or more bank statements. It does not need to be in US dollars. It can be in your home currency, or it can be a combination if you have relatives here. But the total amount needs to add up to your 1 year cost for living, tuition fees, and room and board. Yes, it just needs to be a confirmation of balance showing the total amount available. It should be a new document. It can't be more than, it should not be more than 2 or 3 months old. So after you submit your financial document, we will send you your document I-20. We will send that to you via FedEx. St. Thomas will cover the cost of mailing, so you do not need to pay us for that. When you get the I-20, we will also send you directions on how to make your appointment for your visa. Now, as you know, with the COVID-19 virus situation, there are a lot of difficulties all over the world. Right now, many of the embassies and consulates are closed, and they are not taking visa appointments right now. What that means, even though they are closed now, they may be closed in your home country, I would strongly advise you to start this process early, because when the embassies and consulates do open again, it's going to be a mad dash for everybody to try to get visa appointments, and it's going to be difficult. They're going to be backed up. So you'll want to start the process early as possible, so that you can get it in time.
Mm-hmm.
We will send you the instructions, and then you'll go online, you will pay a fee, and then you will make an appointment for your visa at the embassy or consulate in your home country. At that point, you will actually go to the embassy and do a face-to-face interview with a visa officer who will ask you a few questions, and will make the decision right then and there on the spot whether or not your visa is approved. For those of you who are already in the US, the process is different. You will wait until the end of your current semester. So when the current semester is finished, then you will contact us. We will transfer your CVIS record over to St. Thomas and then print you a new I-20. And so that will happen at the end of this current semester.
Mm-hmm.
And then confirming. So you do need to pay a confirming deposit.
Which we'll talk about. Yeah. Next slide. It's okay.
Okay.
Yep. So that's confirming. Before we move on to more specifics about what it looks like to confirm, and for that visa interview, to answer the question from earlier as well, another great thing that I talked about earlier is talking to a current student. So we have 11 current students who are international that are volunteering as international student ambassadors. You might have gotten a phone call the other week, or maybe a missed call, and it was from us. It was one of our current students calling you to talk about what it's like to be a student here. All you have to do is reach out to me or Ethan and ask, can I talk to a current student? And then we will absolutely connect you. You will also probably get an email soon from one of them introducing themselves if they haven't already talked to you on the phone. So they're really excited to talk to you. They are the best resources for what it's like to be a student here. Because they're living it, their experience. So ask things like, what is this class like? What about this professor? What dorm should I live in? What's the food like? What plan should I get? All these questions about what choices you're going to have, they're the best resources for asking those questions. And then you'll meet them when you get here. So you already have a friend when you show up, which is really nice. Yeah. That's also them in the picture. They're great. Okay, ready, go, Ethan.
Okay, so the visa appointment, a lot of students get questions about this. I mean, have questions about this. Essentially, what people don't understand is that the visa interview is very short, okay? It's only a couple minutes. They ask you a couple questions. It's usually, there's glass in between you and the visa officer, so it's not very personal. You know, The most important thing to keep in mind, you have to be familiar with your situation, right? That's why it's very good that you are watching and or listening to this webinar, because you need to be very familiar with the University of St. Thomas. You need to be very familiar with Minnesota. They may ask you, why did you choose Minnesota? Why did you choose St. Thomas? And you should be able to explain. Here's some tips. These are basically 10 tips that are given about this. Number one, probably the most important thing, you need to have a tie to your home country. So coming to the United States with a student visa, the expectation is that you're coming here to be a student. So you're not coming here to be an immigrant. You're not coming here to work and earn lots of money and then send it home. You're coming here to be a student. And so what you want to show to them is that after you graduate, you should have a plan that you're going to go back home. What are you going to do? You know, what's your tie? If your family has a business, that's a great one. If you have property that you're going to go back and live on, that's another good one. If you have a career plan, you're going to go back and work in whatever industry and help develop your home country. Those are all really good ties. That's one thing that you want to show. Excuse me. Number two, don't over practice. Okay, the reason we say this, a lot of students try so hard to memorize the perfect answer. That is not what the visa officer is looking for. Please don't try to memorize an answer. Don't go on our website and memorize something about St. Thomas. Just be yourself. Like just have the information in your mind and say it in your own words. Tell them why you picked St. Thomas. Why do you like St. Thomas? What's good about it? You know, the staff are friendly. The major is really good. You know, you've been in touch. Your classmate from last year already went, whatever it is, just be honest. Tell them in your own words, not memorized, what are your plans? Speak for yourself. Number four, know about your program. Yes, this is very good. Make sure if you're planning to major in engineering, you know that St. Thomas has a strong engineering program. If you're planning to do research, you know, if you want to do biology, and you can say St. Thomas has a lot of great research opportunities for undergraduate students, anything like that. You could even say, you know, St. Thomas is a Catholic school and I wanted to be at a Catholic school, anything like that. All of those things would be good things to say, whatever is your personal situation. Be brief and maintain a positive attitude, absolutely. Smile, you know, look professional. You don't have to wear a suit and tie, but make sure that you're, you know, look like you're a serious student. Clear and concise supporting documentation. You will want to bring your financial documents. You may want to bring your, oh, here we go, items to bring, thank you. And we will send you this information. You don't need to
It's also all on our website. I just pulled this all of the steps, all of the documents. I'll put this in the chat. You'll get it in an email as well. It's also on our website. So don't worry, this is just a visual for you guys right now.
Okay. And then, you know, if you don't feel comfortable with the visa interview, if you want to do a practice, like if you want to connect with us here online to do a practice, send us an email. We would be happy to do that with you, to kind of walk through it and do some of the frequently asked questions.
Definitely. You'll also get the article that this information came from. It's hyperlinked into the presentation. We will also be sending you that with your pre-arrival information. So we have a lot of resources for you. We're always here to support you. And I think to answer one of the questions earlier about what happens if I get rejected the first time. Ethan, do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So some students do get rejected for the visa. There's many reasons. Sometimes you don't even know the reason. I will say I would encourage you to try again. Many students get approved on the second or third try. So don't give up. That's another reason why I would say you should start this process early, because you want to get a visa appointment as early as possible. So that way, if something does go wrong, you have time to try again. Second, if you're worried about paying our deposit, if you are denied for your visa, or if anything, related to the COVID-19 pandemic causes you to miss the first semester, we will refund your deposit, okay? So if you just choose to go to a different school, then we will not refund your deposit. But if it's for a visa denial, we absolutely will refund your deposit.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of that deposit, let's talk about that. Go ahead, Ethan.
Okay, how to confirm your admission. So we need a $200 confirming deposit. That's to hold your place in the class. And then if you're planning to live on campus, you will need a $200 housing deposit as well. How to confirm? If you log into your application portal, there will be two options. One will say pay from outside the US, one will say pay from inside the US. If you are outside the US, I would strongly encourage you to use this one. It's called flywire.com. It's a website that does international payments. There may be a small fee, like it varies depending on your country, but it could be like 5% or something, a fee to do it. But the reason we strongly encourage you to do this one is if for some reason you do need to do a refund, it's much, much easier to give you a refund by using flywire.com. If you just use our regular credit card payment system, it's very, very difficult to do a refund if you're outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're inside the US, log into your portal and click on the pay from inside the US option, and then that will allow you to just pay with a debit or a credit card right through our website. If you're inside the US, doing a refund is much easier, and flywire.com does not work in the US, so you have to use that other method. Okay?
Okay, so campus housing, you will soon see an email in the next couple of months or so about where to live on campus. We will send that to you. Again, talking to a current student is super smart, because that means that you can ask which one should I live in, get more information. If you want to see pictures, if you want to do something that maybe you don't see on our website, just ask us if you're not sure about what choice to make, and we can help you. But everything's on our website as well to look at options, whether you're a first year or a transfer student. There are some different options available to you. So just make sure you're always checking your email, always making sure you're in communication with us about upcoming emails or housing or confirmation deposits, all that good stuff. And then you will come here on August 31st, which is a Monday. You have to show up by that day. You're here for a week before everybody else shows up, because maybe you're jet lagged, or we need to get you a bank account, cell phone. You want to bond with the other students who are also coming, or who are international students. We have a great orientation program for you that whole time. You get to move in early, so you move in on the 31st, and everybody else comes that Friday, so you'll meet your American roommate or roommates. We'll also pick you up from the airport, so that's important too. And then your first 6 weeks, we'll continue to meet with you to make sure things like academic success, adjusting to the U.S. classroom, getting involved on campus, all those things that you may wonder how that looks for your transition. That's why we're here. We're here to support you, and you'll have that programming all for you guys the whole time. Everybody on campus celebrates Welcome Days the weekend after you guys arrive, so super fun, great chance to see what it's like to be on campus with everybody who's on campus who's new. And then you start class on September 8th. And so these are photos from orientation. You'll meet orientation leaders, your other students. It's a really good chance to kind of transition into moving here. Okay, any last minute questions? This is also all of our social media. I highly, highly, highly suggest if you have Instagram or Facebook that you follow it because it's a really good chance to see what it looks like here. Maybe see some students that you're already talking to as ambassadors, but also I answer all of this. So if you want to just direct message me, it's really easy. And then we also have an office WhatsApp that we use a lot as well. So if you need to use WhatsApp to talk to us, that's our number. And then obviously our emails we'll always answer those as well. All right, questions. I'll unmute you.
We had a question about the arrival date.
Yes.
I just want to, so international arrival date is August 31st. Now, based on the immigration law, you are allowed to come up to 30 days before that, okay? So you can come up to 30 days prior to the start date. However, if you are living on campus, you cannot move into your residence until August 31st. Mm-hmm. So if you want to come early, up to 30 days early, you can enter the country, but you'll need to make your own arrangements for housing. So that means mm-hmm. you may have to stay in a hotel or something else. If you don't have housing arrangements and you don't want to pay for a hotel, then you should come on the 31st. Mm-hmm. And if you want us to pick you up at the airport, we can do that on the 31st only.
Mm-hmm. Good question. Any other questions?
That's it.
Awesome. Well, if you think of them later, we're very reachable. So reach out any way you'd like, email, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
We forgot, we didn't mention earlier, people here in Minnesota are famous for being very friendly. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we can, hopefully we at St. Thomas will hold up to that reputation. But if you think of anything else, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Email, social media, WhatsApp, pick up the phone, whatever, we're here for you.
Yes, and if a student does arrive later than the 31st to answer the question, it would have to be like the next day. And maybe that's because of a delay or something happened. It's just that you can't miss certain parts of orientation, they're required. And so the 31st is existing to make sure you get comfortable, get some sleep, get caught up, unpack, things like that. Yeah, and then so try to arrive on 31st as much as possible. It's the best choice. And then I see that there's also a comment about racism in the United States, specifically against Black students. This question actually comes up a lot abroad when I'm traveling or when Ethan's traveling, and I'm not going to say that racism is not real in the United States because racism is real around the world, right? I think everybody knows that. But what I will say is that what I've seen at St. Thomas, if anything ever happens to a student, this community is extremely strong. And so we will rally around that student. We will rectify the situation. We will make sure that we are someone that you guys can talk to if something happens. But in my experience, international students have had a very good experience here, been very accepted. They have, there's the international student community, but then also along the sides of the Minnesotan community, the American community. Minnesota, specifically the Twin Cities, is a huge immigrant population. And so there's a lot of different people from all over the world, different backgrounds, different languages. And so I think that makes the Twin Cities a really accepting, awesome place to move, especially if you're moving from abroad. So I think that's a really important question, though, to ask for yourselves. And I would encourage you to also ask it to current students. What's their experience? Because that's who's currently studying here, too. And I think that's a really smart question. Anything else before we let you guys go to bed? Awesome. Well, thank you both. We will be sharing this presentation as well as the recording with all of the admitted students and confirmed students. But please don't hesitate to reach out. Like Ethan said, Minnesota Nice is a real thing. It's what we're proud of. And so please don't hesitate. We're here to support you in any way we can. Oh, I see a sweet nugget. So cute, Beth.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.